The sole purpose is to hate and cause chaos. Angry at the world for your existence, yet also angry at the world for your eventual demise. There's a running theme in Final Fantasy IX. Recall the story of Sisyphus. Lives have an eventual demise. There's a perpetual timer set on our bodies, and one day you will cease existing. Sisyphus was a cunning man who cheated death twice. You were not allowed to cheat death. Once your time was up, you had to die. This angered the gods, who condemned Sisyphus to an eternity of taking a large boulder and rolling it up a mountain, only for it to roll back down once it reached the top. He had to repeat this for an eternity. This is a story of existentialism. You have your own life purpose. Sisyphus has no meaning in life anymore. He will push that boulder up to that mountain, but there is absolutely no meaning to it, as it will eventually roll back down. It's a never-ending cycle of meaninglessness, thus making his life a nihilistic one. Now recall the story of Kuja. He's a puppet made to hate and destroy. He catalyzes destruction, evokes wars, and fuels chaos. Kuja eventually learns the disturbing truth that his life has a timer on it, and he isn't made to last. This fuels his hate even further, to the point of dragging the entire world into death with him. Brief summary. In this world, there are two planets, the world of Gaia and the world of Terra. The world of Terra is dying. A crystal is something that acts as a reboot van for souls, where when someone dies, the soul goes through the crystal and then back into the planet as a new life. The crystal in Terra is dying. It's sick and old. A Terra named Garland is destined to save the people of Terra who can't be reborn due to a sick crystal. He creates these vessels that look like humans but have weird tails. They're called genomes. They're empty shells that just pace back and forth for now, but later they will carry the souls of the Terran people once their crystal issue has been fixed. Not before long, Garland finds the planet of Gaia, a planet with a healthy crystal. To save the people of Terra, he must merge the two worlds together. To stop Gaia from continuously rebooting old souls, he plants a magical tree called the Ifa tree, which blocks souls from entering the crystal. This causes a deep mist to settle on Gaia. All that's left now is to initiate the merger. To do this, he must conjure up storms on Gaia, and I mean that in a figurative way. Garland creates a monster. He creates a genome with a consciousness and thoughts, a weapon of mass destruction bound to bring terror and chaos to the planet, with one massive problem. Garland makes the genome an adult, and it is unable to learn emotion, thus unable to learn the legendary power that stems from emotions called trance. Seeing as it has failed, Garland makes another genome that can think and learn. This time he creates a child able to process emotion, thus achieving trance. The former child of Garland becomes envious and abducts the latter child and abandons him on Gaia. The former becomes the ultimate weapon of mass destruction, named after the Hindu planet of Mars, whose name means one of Earth, one of Terra, Kuja. Kuja's existentialism ends in him attempting to destroy the world and drag everything into death with him. You see, Kuja was defective and evil. Garland acknowledged this and set a timer on Kuja's life, which was meant to end when his younger brother, the new child of Garland, surpasses Kuja in strength. The new child of Garland is named Zidane, and he is the protagonist of the game. Of course, he was left on Gaia by Kuja, so he has no idea about this merger and puppet of destruction thing. This is when the game actually begins. Kuja's story is on pause right now. Fast forward to the end of the game. Kuja finishes waging wars for Garland. Just as you think Garland and the Terrans have won, Kuja makes an announcement. He is nobody's puppet. He serves himself. He uses all the souls that have been accumulated in the Ifa tree and absorbs them to awaken the power he was born without. Trance. With this power, he kills Garland and betrays Terra. Garland's spirits usher its final words. He reveals the truth about Kuja, about his origins and his lifespan. This completely rains on Kuja's parade. He is set into confusion and grief, as he's unable to cope with his newfound knowledge about his short, definite lifespan. This is what makes him want to destroy the world. Existentialism is the belief that there is an impact we leave behind, and there's a purpose to the things we do. Without existentialism, You end up like Sisyphus, repeatedly rolling the boulder up and down the mountain with no purpose. This is a twisted purpose Kuja planned to leave behind. He decided that his life after claiming the power of trance would be like repeatedly rolling a boulder up a hill. If he died, all the power he gathered would have been for nothing. His actions would have no meaning. Kuja alone, distraught and disgusted, gave himself purpose. The purpose of his life to bring death to all life on Gaia and Terra alike. His whole life he had been rejected, first by Garland, next by his brother, and now the world that had his fate on a timer. Now compare his life to Vivi. Kuja is a doll that was created by hand and not by nature. Vivi is a doll that was created by hand and not by nature. Kuja was created to wage war and cause destruction. Vivi was created to participate in wars and cause destruction. Kuja had a finite life and his demise is set in stone. Vivi has a finite life and his demise is set in stone. Both Kuja and Vivi lived life without knowing about their death timer. Literally had doom casted on them since conception. Vivi and Kuja are very similar. They're almost exactly the same. The main difference is the post-trauma. Vivi saw no meaning left. He started rolling the boulder. Luckily for him, he had friends around to knock some sense into him. He came to his senses. The entire Black Mage village arc is reflective of this. The Black Mages at the village had accepted their fate already and just lived happily until their day arrived. Vivi had his friends give him meaning. He decided to live his life and go on with the party to explore as much of the world as he could. This was the purpose the game gave him. Kuja, on the other hand, was forced onto a dark path. He didn't have anyone to pull him out of the dark path. The world pretty much rejected him. He was left rolling a rock up and down a hill. From there, he went megalomaniac and decided to fulfill his life's purpose and betray all that exists, the god of destruction. Kuja, despite being hellbent on causing destruction, actually saves the party at the end of the game from the collapse of the Ifa tree. Zidane rushes in to save him, but it was too late. He had fulfilled a new purpose, and he had saved his brother's life, while atoning for his. Kuja was born to be hated, born to cease functioning, and born to fulfill that purpose. One existing without the emotional power. Kuja and the genomes were all created for wrong. What Kuja did was wrong. Two wrongs end up making a right. Kuja gave a countless amount of lives a reason. He freed a countless amount of genomes from the endless life of rolling a rock up and down a hill. He defied their fate, and his memory will live on in the hearts of thousands, so one may not forget that their life has meaning.